Alright, so this is going to be an in-depth tutorial on the any percent run for Borderlands, the pre-sequel. There's a tutorial like this for Borderlands 2, despite how it's a little bit out of date at this point, but there was never really one created for the pre-sequel, so I'm gonna make one right here, right now. So this is going to be an in-depth tutorial for the any percent run, particularly the any percent claptrap run, because he is the main character in the speedrun, the fastest character, the one with the most glitches, the easiest character because of this. So this is the run I'm going to be focusing on. All of the other characters are more or less the same. There are a couple of differences, but the route itself is about the same for all of them, but this run is particularly going to focus on the claptrap route. So have fun playing this claptrap for attempt upon attempt upon attempt. So getting started, just getting the game running itself, there are a couple things you need. If you go to the speedrun.com page and then go to the resources tab, you're going to need two things from this page. The first big one is this one, patch 1.0.4. We do not play on current patch because they removed a lot of the fun glitches and a lot of the glitches that make the run bearable and doable as fast as it is. So you're going to want to download this. This is just the full installation of the game. You download it, you put it in some folder on your computer, and then you launch the exe that's in there. Note that you need Steam. You need the game on Steam to be able to get this. It's not a cracked version or a pirated version of the game or something. You still need to own the game. This is just the patch that the speedrun is run on. So you download it. Steam has to be running, and etc. for it to work. So once you get that, launch the exe, and then if you want to make sure that you're on the right version, you can go to the Find Games tab, and then it should have in here Borderlands TPS 1.0.4. If you don't have it, then you're not on the right patch, and try again, really. So the second thing you're going to want, I think, is this save, this claptrap save. This claptrap save works as well, but it has the loyalty rewards equipped, and you don't really want the weapons equipped right away. And I think this one, AC uploaded or something that has them not equipped. So I think this is the save that you're going to want to download. And then one other thing, the bullpup is one of the loyalty rewards, and those are tied to your profile. So if you own saves for Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2, then you shouldn't need a profile. But if you do need a profile with those loyalty rewards, you can click this, download it, and then bam, you have the save. You have the profile. So what you're going to want to do with this profile and this save is you're going to want to go to your documents folder, and then you want to go into My Games, and then find Borderlands Pre-Sequel, Willow Game, save data, and then some random string of numbers, and then here's the profile that you want to throw in here if you need it, and then here you're going to throw in the save as well. So that's an easy way to get started with the profile and the save aspect of it. The other thing that you want to get started with is live split. So this game, because it's run on PC, and PCs have different load times based on whatever hardware you have, and all other factors, we remove loads so that it's consistent from player to player. So to do that, you need live split, and then you want to go to edit splits, and then you want to make sure you have Borderlands the pre-sequel selected, and then there should be this option for the load remover, and you just have to click activate, and then so long as the game is running, and bam, load remover works. So as of recording this, August 17th, there is a new load remover that BGM created that works a lot better. And the way that you're going to want to set that up, though, is a little bit differently. Edit layout, and then you need to add a scriptable auto splitter. And then in layout settings, you can direct it to the scriptable auto splitter. I don't have it set up, and I probably should. But it works a lot better and has less actions that you have to do. It's just a little bit more setup that you have to deal with. Although running the current load remover has more. Yeah, we'll get into it. Just because it's the default one in Live Split currently, I'll be running the tutorial with this currently. So the last thing that you're going to want to do with Live Split is you're going to want to right click and then compare against, and then you want to make sure game time is selected. If you select real time, then the loads aren't going to be removed. The timer isn't going to be paused during load screens. You want to make sure game time is selected. If your load remover isn't working, then the culprit is probably that you're not comparing against game time. So those are a couple of the just basic setup things that you need to make sure you have set up. Pretty straightforward. You don't have to deal with patching. You don't have to deal with down patch or anything. You just download the patch that you need and then run it from there, and then you should be good to go. So once you have all that set up, close out of that. Once you have all that set up and you're in game, there are still a couple things that you want to set up options wise. So one big one that's super good for most of the game is you want aim assist on. The speedrun isn't a test of who is the best mechanically or who has the best aim and who has the greatest 360 no scope headshots. It's just whoever can go fast using the constraints of the game itself. And the game gives us aim assist, and the aim assist is really good, and we're going to use it a ton in the speedrun. So you want to make sure you have it on. There are a couple of times throughout pretty much this entire run that I'm going to be showing off how you can abuse the aim assist to go faster or be safer or anything like that. So you generally want this on. And then personally, at least my preference is I like having reset camera on slam off so that you don't get motion sickness, but that's again a preference. That's based on your butt slam and whatever, that doesn't really matter. Keybinds, however, is where it does get a little different, because this is the big one. You want to have jump set to mouse wheel down. Now, I'm going to get into... Later on, we'll see why it's so incredibly broken to have it on mouse wheel down. But this run makes use of scroll jumping a ton. So you want to jump on mouse wheel down. And then another one that's not set by default that you definitely want to set is drop weapon. You want to bind it to something. It's not bound by default. And you want to bind it to some sort of key on your keyboard. And again, once we get in game, I'll show off why it's incredibly broken. Really helpful to have. So those are the settings that I can think of right now. If anything pops up during the run, then we can get to it there. So once you have everything set, there's my claptrap save, and we can get started with the run with the tutorial. Now, if you're used to Borderlands 2 speedrunning, the pre-sequel speedrunning is a little bit different in that the intro cutscene of having to listen to a claptrap talk is a lot shorter, even though the opening area is a little bit different and longer. So we're going to get in game essentially right away. So if you have the load remover, it will auto start whenever you can actually gain control of your character and move. So my timer would have been started already. And there are a couple things right off the bat that you're going to want to do. Claptrap comes equipped with a TDR SMG, which is really helpful a little bit later on for something that can save a tiny amount of time. So what we want to do is we want to drop it. Even though it's important, we want to drop it because of some menuing we're going to do to start off. So another important thing is right at the start of the run, before you interact with any enemies or do any combat whatsoever, you want to make sure you go to your badass rank. For those that don't know, your badass rank is like a prestige type system in the series. That's it. It's in Borderlands 2. It's in Borderlands, the pre-sequel. As you complete these challenges of like just kill certain enemies or deal damage or whatnot, you get badass ranks and can earn badass tokens, which can give you stat increases across your profile, across all characters. Now, this can be really broken because, as far as we know, there's no limit to how high these stats can go. So someone who has played 1,000 hours in this game is going to have a lot higher stats than someone who only has 50 hours in this game. And we want to make this as even as possible across as many facets as possible. So for a run to be considered valid, you need to disable this and prove that your stats are either disabled or just not spent, period. A couple people don't have any badass ranks or badass tokens redeemed at all, so they don't show it during the run and make sure at the end of the game they show that they don't have anything spent. I like showing it at the beginning just to make the mod's life easier. So that is the very first thing I do during my runs. And then it comes to your weapons. So these are 2 loyalty rewards. The Ordinary Smasher is one that you get from having a Borderlands 2 save, and then just the Smasher in general is one you get from having a Borderlands 2 save, and then the Bullpup is a weapon you get from having a Borderlands 1 save. Like I mentioned before, they're tied to your profile. So if you don't own these games, you can just use the profile on speedrun.com and you should be able to get these rewards. So what we want to do is make sure we have the Bullpup equipped. So since we dropped our SMG, we're only going to have the TMP equipped. So it's just a simple open your inventory and then enter, and then sometimes if your Smasher's up top, then it might equip that first. So you might have to do it twice just to make sure that you have your Smasher equipped. And then another thing about my backpack, generally the default sorting is going to be something along those lines, just showing everything. This item, your Echolog, is incredibly overpowered and broken and saves an insane amount of time for the speedrun. So we want to access it a bunch. So you page up, page down a couple of times so that you're sorting by items first. And that way, unless you have an Oz kit or a grenade mod in your inventory, your Echolog is going to be the #1 thing that shows up in your backpack. So that's the sorting that you want to have. Just, again, basic things that this is tied to your profile globally. So if I save quit here and then go to a different character, it'll still be sorting by this. So this is something that you want to have before the run even starts. So again, we barely started the run, but there's a lot into it. So once you have the Bullpup equipped, and then make sure you're sorting by the right thing, you can exit and then you want to pick up your TDR SMG, and then you want to save quit. Literally first 3 seconds of the run, done. So after that, you enter your game. So the way that I save quit so quickly, there's a certain key sequence that gets you that save quit input really quickly. Once you hit escape, you want to hit end, which will take you to the bottom, then enter, then up, enter. Really quick sequence, but the save quit from doing that can get really quickly. Can be done really quickly once you get it down pat. So the reason that we save quit is Claptrap was over here and he has to walk all the way over there. But if we save quit, then he automatically teleports way over there. So nice little time save there. Now, what we want to do is we want to hit his trigger. We want to get to him so that he says, here, let me open this door. And then we're going to do our very first out of bounds. So a general theme of Borderlands games in general is that walls don't exist. And this is no exception, very start of the game. You want to jump on this railing, and then, and then you want to jump on this thing that doesn't look like it should be solid, and then you want to jump on this thing that is definitely a wall, but you can jump on it. And then you can jump across here onto this thing, and then you can like walk across these I don't even know what they're called, like wall segments or this structural something. You can walk on that, and then you can enter into here. So that saves a bunch of time of having to walk all the way around, and you're in the arena for the first fight right away. So there are 5 or 6 enemies that we need to kill, and this is the very first fight of the game. You can see how strong aim assist is. So the way it works is if you're close to an enemy and scope in, it'll lock on to the enemy. You can see I'm aiming like not really close to them, but I'm sort of close, so it locks on. So you can scope in and out really quickly, and no matter how you're moving, you can still stay locked onto an enemy. So we've used that a ton in this fight, and just really quickly scope in and out and fire, and it gives you really good accuracy even while you're potentially doing a bunch of movement. So you want to check all of these guys' bodies. Every enemy in this area has the potential to drop a grenade, which can let you do a skip that saves a whole bunch of time. Hopefully I'll be able to show off the skip, because it's a little difficult, because there aren't too many grenade jumps it's a grenade jump that gets you into the boss arena of this area faster, and there aren't many grenade jumps that are like it in the game, just because of the nature of the low gravity and whatnot, and the nature of the Oz kits, and double jumps. That it's a weird jump that is a little difficult and different in this game. So hopefully we get a grenade so I can show that off. So we have to wait for Claptrap here, and this door is going to open, and there's 3 enemies that you have to kill. This guy has a bit of a timer before you can actually kill him, like an internal buffer. It's weird. I don't know. It is what it is. But another thing that you have to keep in mind is we're going to start getting into why this echo is so powerful. So once Claptrap finishes screaming, you want to play your echo log. Okay, you want to kill these guys, and then you want to play your echo log again. So and then there's a couple of lines that you skip because of that. So what just happened is we skipped dialogue. If you play your echo log before a character's dialogue line, and then the character says their line, and then you play your echo log again, it will skip that line. As you can imagine, a lot of Borderlands is dialogue, so this can save a ton of time throughout the run. So there's no real secret to the dialogue skip. It's just a matter of knowing which dialogue you have to skip. There are ways that can make it so you can skip a whole bunch of dialogue at once, so you don't have to individually skip every single line. But we'll get to that a little bit more later. General basis is play an echo line, hear some dialogue, and then play your echo again. Alright, so we have this cutscene, then we have another fight where aim assist can really help you. So you kill those 3 guys, and then kill these guys, and then you want to kill this fighter too, because that fighter counts as an enemy that you have to kill in the area. It flies away, so you technically don't have to kill it, but it's faster to kill it. Now what I did just there, something slight that you might not have noticed, and I don't even know if it worked, is called drop reloading. And it's what I did with having my drop key bound. Every weapon in world automatically has a full clip. So this pistol that dropped randomly, which is really helpful that it dropped, I'll pick it up and it has a full clip. Every gun in world is like this. So I ran out of ammo on my bullpup, so I dropped my bullpup and picked it up. And because of that, my bullpup in theory, should have a full clip. It runs into weird interactions with if you have less ammo in your reserves than a full clip, then weirdness happens and it doesn't potentially fill it up. I can't really explain that part, but I did that, and yeah, it didn't work. There it did. It worked that time, so I went down, but it's no big deal. Level up bonus doesn't really matter. So once you get to this last guy, you're going to want to start heading over to Jack. This is a little difficult to get timed, but once you kill him, you want to rush to revive Jack because he has dialogue lines. Okay, So as soon as you finish reviving him, you want to open your inventory and play your echolog, because he'll talk. If you take too long, he'll be like, yo, help me up, I'm dying over here, can you hurry up please? And if he's talking, then it'll mess up your dialogue skip. So you want to get to him as fast as possible, and as soon as you finish reviving him, play your echolog, and then you want to skip this line, and then you have to wait for this animation for him to get up, and then you turn in, and then you have 2 more lines that you skip. Now I need ammo. This line doesn't matter. So here's an example of drop reloading. So I have 4 in my clip. Yep. And now my clip is just about full. So you have to wait for these turrets to spawn, kill one, and then you want to play an echo again. Kill the last one, and then skip that line, and then you can move on. So these guys can drop grenades. It doesn't look like they did either. So none of this dialogue matters. You have to wait for Jack to get his butt over here. But once he finishes, you want to play an echo again, and then skip that line. So this early game is a lot of just knowing which dialogue you need to skip, and that's about it. It's a little bland, and takes a lot to actually get used to and learn what you actually have to skip and what you don't have to skip and what you actually can't skip. But once you get a couple runs in, it almost becomes second nature. So you have to wait for this cutscene, for this thing to show up that never really gets explained.
Okay, that's unnerving. Run!
Alright, and then more exposition. So this dialogue doesn't matter either, because you have to wait for Jack to get over here, and it looks like I did get a grenade somewhere, so I'll be able to show off the thing here. So coming up here is actually a really difficult dialogue skip that saves a good amount of time to get. It's difficult though. I'll see if I can get it. There we are. So you want to open your inventory like as soon as he finishes the all across Helios, and then you have a split second that you can get your echo in. And then I think I skipped that too early.
What? I called you an asshole because I thought I'd hung up. My bad.
We will speak again, John.
So that's an example. You only I skipped one extra line there, or one line too early. So because of that, he just kind of stopped right here. Watch other runs, and you can see the proper timing for that and the proper line you skip. Quick little time save here. If you kill these jet fighters over the void, then they'll just fall down. You don't have to worry about killing them again. So quick little time save there. So you'll kill these guys, and then you move on. Nice little jump you can do there. That saves a little bit of time. And then kill those guys, and you level up and get our action skill. So you want to spend that point, and then whenever you do spend that skill point, you also, while you're in your inventory, want to unequip your shield, and that'll be a little bit clearer pretty soon. So now we have a lot more waiting time. We have to wait for Jack to run from like all the way over here to all the way over there. But there is something that we can do while he's running over here. So the echolog is really strong because it can skip dialogue lines, but it's also really strong because, and I'm actually going to spend a whole bunch of time here that I don't need to spend. Actually, did he drop another grenade? No, he didn't. So right now you can go over and hit text trigger to move on in the story, but what you should be doing while all that's happening, instead of explaining things, is one, you want to buy some shotgun ammo. You want to have full shotgun ammo for this next part. And then you want to go to your echolog, and you can see you sell it for $100. So you sell it. And then if you buy it back, you actually buy it. It says buy it back for $100, but if you buy it back, you actually just buy it back for free. So you can see I have $300, $400, $500, $600, $700, $800, $900. So you can do this infinitely to get as high a money as your fingers can stand. So the menuing for it is actually really simple. You want to do, so if you're, let me buy that back. So if you're selling it for the first time, you go in here, you press 3 to get to the sell menu, scroll down to your luck log, hit enter, then 1, enter, 3, enter, 1, enter, 3, enter, enter, 3, enter. And then you can get really quickly, you can do this really quickly and get a whole bunch of money. 3,000 is more than enough. Generally, I try to get like 2,000 or so in this portion of it. So before you hit Jack's trigger, you want to play an echo log, and then skip that line. Alright, so if you have a grenade here, this is where the route changes a little bit. If you don't have a grenade, there are a couple of enemies. You have to fight 2 enemies over here and then a jet fighter over here. If you have a grenade, you can skip all of this and just go all the way over here, and then throw your grenade right here, and then jump over here. So that was a grenade jump. If you have an unmodded grenade, then you can boost yourself with a grenade and do what's called a grenade jump. If you have a grenade mod equipped, it won't work. So for just about all of Borderlands running period, aside from I guess Borderlands 3, and I guess a little bit in Borderlands 1, you almost never want to have a grenade mod equipped, because grenade jumps are just really strong and save a ton of time throughout runs. So what that did, the jump that I landed over here, like I said, you can only do it with a grenade. So you land over here, and then you do a little bit of jumping here. There's a little section that you can jump on over there, and then you can stand on here, and then you want to go in here, and this will activate the cutscene and the boss fight. If you don't have a grenade, you have to fight those guys and then that jet fighter, and then you have to go all the way around and wait for Jack to open this door, and then you can jump in and enter the arena. If you have a grenade, you can just hit the cutscene right away. And this is the first boss. So this is Flameknuckle. It can be a little bit difficult. I've definitely had some issues with them in the past, but we'll see what we can do. So I'm gonna roll my action skill. So part of Claptrap's gimmick and his action skill in general is all of the action skills from all the Vault Hunters from Borderlands 2. So you can get a turret and be like Axton. You can get gun zerking and be like Salvador. You can get a buzz axe and melee like Krieg. That's his gimmick. So there are two action skills that are really helpful before level 10, and then 2 different ones that are helpful after level, or one same one different one after level, whatever. For this fight, the action skills that you really want to get are Mecha Magician. Mecha Magician is almost always going to be a really good action skill to get. That is Gage's action skill from the Mechromancer from Borderlands 2. She's the best speedrun character for Borderlands 2, and her action skill gives you everything that she got, essentially. So, no secret there that Mecha Magician is a really good action skill for this speedrun. And then the other one's a bit controversial. Gunzerker is actually a pretty solid action package to get for boss fights. Essentially, you get a duplicate of your gun, and you fire 2 of them at the same time. So obviously, double the DPS essentially is really good. Later on, it's a bit more problematic, and in co-op, it can be very frustrating. So the action package you get can significantly speed up this fight. So we'll see what I ended up getting. His other gimmick is that you can mess with your friends. This would be one of those mess with your friends action gimmicks. So because I do not have a good action package. This fight is slow, so I'm gonna have to do another wave fight with these jet fighters. If you're fast enough, you just have to kill Flameknuckle and that's it. If you're slow enough, you have to kill one of these jet fighters and 2 of these guys. If you're even slower, then there's 2 crates that come in that you have to kill more guys coming out of. So once you get that check mark, you immediately want to open your inventory, if you can. If you got Rubber Ducky, and then play an Echolog. And then skip these 2 lines. So now, the reason that you take off your shield is twofold. One, Krieg's action package is actually insanely good and really imperative that we get in the speedrun, but for this portion, it is less than ideal, having only melee damage against a boss. So you can only get Krieg's action skill if you have a full shield. So if you take off your shield, then you don't have a full shield, so you can't get that action package. The second reason is because we're going to do a death warp using this weapon. So for those that don't know, a TDR weapon, whenever you reload it, you can throw it like a grenade and it explodes. So you can damage yourself with it. So we're going to get ourselves really low. And I actually missed this dialogue skip because of that. So you want to skip that line. And then skip this line just to keep your echo up. And then skip that line. So I'm just about at the health that I want to be at. The damage the reload does is proportional to the amount of ammo in it. So if you think you're gonna kill yourself with the reload and you don't want to kill yourself, you can just empty your mag a lot more. So this is good. As this is going in, you want to throw the reload and then kill you. You want to actually hit yourself with it. And then once you see that Borderlands logo in the corner, that means you hit the save. So you're free to die, and whenever you die, you're going to respawn where the moonshot shell is going to take you. So as you can see, it just now, that's where you come out of. So you spawn a little bit closer and then a little bit sooner too. So what you want to do is before you hit this elevator portion, you want to hit your echo, play that, and then you want to equip your shield too. So you want to hit this, and then skip those lines, and melee that, and then you have a whole lot more waiting to do. So that means a whole lot more money. So sometimes if you mess up, you might accidentally sell your entire inventory, which is a bit of a pain. So do this for a little bit. Once Jack gets up, he's going to have a little bit more dialogue. You don't want to skip this, but that dialogue means that this guy's going to spawn, and you have to kill him. He's actually invincible until he says, after we kill this asshole, and then you can actually kill him. So once you kill him, I messed up. So actually, this is a good place to, I guess, introduce sequence skipping. So as soon as you kill him, you want to play your echo. I missed getting my echo in. So a way to interrupt character dialogue to get your echo playing is to play your action skill. So Claptrap said something whenever I activated his action skill. If I interrupt what Claptrap said, it's like running the sequencer, or I don't know, here's a couple of dialogue lines that you can say. Claptrap will always say some sort of dialogue line. Sometimes it'll be right away, sometimes it'll be a little bit delayed once you actually get the action package. If you interrupt that dialogue, like sometimes you might say, "Ah, come on," or something. Interrupt that dialogue with your echo, and it will overwrite the in-world dialogue that's going on right now. So you can see Claptrap start boot up sequence started playing even though Jack was talking. So that means that I can skip all of these dialogue lines. So waiting here, sequence skipping has a second side effect that you can attempt to get in right here, but since I had to use it to get my echo playing, I can't shut off, so we'll get to it a little bit later. So after that line, none of the dialogue matters, so it's more time to get money. This is the part of the run where you can get the most money. I generally try to get like around 10 to 12,000, but because I'm taking my time and showing off just a lot of different things, I can get a lot more money. In our 3-player co-op runs, I can actually get, I just spend the entire time getting money because I'm not needed to do anything in this area, so I can get around like $12,000. But 10,000 is generally good enough for you to be able to buy everything that you need. 10 to 11 to 12,000 is generally enough for you to be able to buy everything that you need for the run. So once this comes in, you can enter here. So these two lines, Jack's 2 lines here don't matter. Once he finishes that line, you want to skip that line, and then the echo will play for a lot longer, and it should play long enough that you can skip Jack's last line. Yep, so his last line, play that, and travel to Serenity's Waste, and that is the first split of the game. So this is the cutscene. You can't skip it in any way. It's a loading screen disguised as a cutscene. We don't know why they did it like this and did it this way, but they did. Every character, every playthrough, every new game playthrough has to watch this cutscene. If you're using the load remover in live split, your timer will pause for this section. But since it's an inconsistent loading screen, and I don't know the reasoning why it was ruled like this. I don't know if the load remover would just like freak out and add a different amount of time, or pause for a different amount of time based on the computer. But your timer will pause, but the time of this cutscene will be added on once you get in game. And I guess that does bring up a point about live split that I'll bring up, I guess, right now. So as soon as you get access to your character, you want to save quit. And again, if you're using the built-in load remover from live split, if it doesn't have BGM's name on it, essentially, if it gets updated in the future, the timer will not pause when you're in the main menu. So if you're save quitting, you have to manually pause the timer in the load screen. It's a bit of a pain, and I think BGM fixed that in his version. But one thing to keep in mind, if that is not the version in live split currently. So you want to save quit once you get access to your character, and then you can immediately join, and then you want to spam your inventory key. This will open your inventory before anything in-world can happen, which lets you play an echolog. It didn't sound like it, but it played, because we're able to skip that dialogue, and then this dialogue line, and then open the moonshot container. So a really fast skip that saves a good amount of dialogue. It's not that difficult to get, you just have to spam your inventory key and you should be good. So here we have Janie. We have to wait for a lot of this early game. These first couple splits are just waiting for people to get to certain areas. We have to wait for Janie to get all the way back to her place over there. So yeah. One thing that you want to do is you want to cycle this Oz station, because if you don't, then she'll stop and turn it on for you, and that's slow because we want her to get over here as fast as possible. So quick little time save there, and we just have to wait for her to get over here. So sometimes that happens. She just like walks through the door. It is what it is. So I mentioned sequence skipping earlier, and I'll go more in depth here because this is probably one of the first instances where if you get one, it can save a very good chunk of time. So I mentioned it before, but I'm gonna say it again. Whenever you play your action skill, your character will say some sort of dialogue line indicating that they're activating their action skill. That dialogue line can get overwritten by your echo log, and in the first line of your echo log, so the claptrap start boot up sequence, or in claptrap's echo log's case, there's claptrap start boot up sequence is one set of dialogue, and then his starting up boot up sequence, I can't even remember it right now. Directive 1, protect humanity, is whatever, that line. Whichever one of those lines interrupts Claptrap's dialogue from his action skill, that dialogue line will skip all in-world dialogue that happens during that chunk. So we want to get one of these for Janie. She has a whole bunch of dialogue. If we get it, it saves a bunch of time. If not, then oh well. So we'll see if we can get it. So I'm going to get in here, and since I have grenades, ammo crates are really weird in Borderlands. If you have less than max of any of your ammo, then you're more likely to get that ammo in an ammo crate that you get. So since I'm less than half. Less than half. I don't know if I said that. If you're less than half, then so I have 3 grenades is my max. I have 0, which is less than half of my max grenades. So because of that, I got 2 grenades in this thing. So I'm going to try and get a sequence here. So he was saying something about combat protocols. So I'm using that. I heard that, and I'm playing the echo. So because of that, all of her dialogue there got skipped, and we're straight to picking up the Oz kit. Another really good thing happened with rolling my action skill. I got Krieg's action package. This is incredibly important for the run because this axe that you're holding, you can drop it. And if you see those numbers, the game's basically telling you you did something wrong. You did something that I don't like by dropping this. And by dropping that, as long as you have a full equipped slots, you can pick up that axe, and there it is in your backpack. This will be used for a glitch a little bit later on, but you want to stockpile as many of these as possible throughout the run. So that's really cool. So I got grenades, and here we can, so many things happening to start off. Here we can show off why scroll jumping is really possible. Our community was really unique. Actually, it's not really that noticeable without an Oz kit, but we have bunny hops in this game. If you jump in the same frame or so as you hit the ground, you will keep all of your momentum. Momentum from your grenade jump, momentum from rocket jump, momentum from an enemy boost, momentum from an air boost. You will keep all of that momentum if you do it like that. That's why we have jump bound to scroll, and why you generally want a Logitech mouse with a free scroll mouse wheel. So after this section, I'll be able to show off how really strong bunny hopping actually is. So once you get over here, if you get the sequence skip, you should be able to get this around when Janie started. I don't exactly remember the timing, but before you flip that lever, you want to play an echo. Flip the lever, and then skip that line as well, and then you want to melee all these things. The Kragans are going to be annoying, but it's whatever. So you want to grab the Oz kit, and then kill these Kragans, and then you want to drop your SMG because you don't need it anymore, and then save quit. And then I'm going to be right back for a second, but I'm just going to cut this out, so... Alright, so once you save quit there, you're going to do a glitch that we call a new game glitch. So you're actually just going to start a new game. And if you're doing the manual timer pausing and unpausing, you're going to want to unpause your timer for this part, get to a new game, and then you just quit out. And then you can repause your timer again. And then you want to select your character and then go back in the game. What this will do is it'll trick the game into giving you more loyalty rewards. So you see I got 30 moonstones, and then I got another bullpup. Now, without getting too much into parts and their effectiveness and what's good and what's not, the bullpup you start with is has the best accessory you can get, the vertical grip right there. You primarily do that new game glitch to get more moonstones and to get a chance at getting a better bullpup. If you get the same vertical grip on it, then use that bullpup. Otherwise, this bullpup is actually going to be worse because it has a lower fire rate, it has less pellets, all for just 2 more damage per pellet. It's generally not worth it. I think, yeah, if you compare, it's just outright lower damage, just slightly higher accuracy. So if that happens, oh well, it's fine. You can drop it if you want, and the smasher equipped, it doesn't really matter. So you save quit. You want to make sure whenever you go into here to accept Janie that you see that Borderlands symbol in the top right corner around over here. That means you'll have the fast travel activated, which means you'll spawn inside of here. If you don't get that save point activated, you'll spawn all the way where you spawned over there, which is slow. So yeah, so you're gonna want to come up all the way up here, turn into Janie, and then leave requests. You don't need those. You need some oxygen, just because oxygen is really helpful. And then here you get to see how strong bunny hopping can be. So I'm jumping once just so that I can clear all that, and then I'm gonna activate my double jump, and then you can see I keep my momentum, and my movement is just silky smooth because of it. So next we're going to talk about the experience route. So you can see my experience bar has like a bunch of the individual bars on it. You want to have around somewhere in between 2 bars until the next level, and then in between 1 bar to the next level. So you want to be somewhere in that second to last bar, because there are 2 areas, 2 easy and I guess unavoidable places to get a level up, or to get experience in that area, and each of those will give 1 bar, and that level up is going to be useful for the next boss fight that's actually coming up. So if you have enough experience, then you can just bunny hop from all the way over here to all the way over there. This is the travel that you're gonna take. You can see I was doing it during my last bunny hop, but you can still shoot while you're bunny hopping, and you can still keep your momentum. So it's a neat little bit of movement. This is definitely the best part of this run, is the movement. In terms of the bunny hopping, you'll be able to tell if you get a bunny hop if you don't consume any oxygen. It's especially evident with Claptrap because he's a robot, so he doesn't naturally lose oxygen. You only lose oxygen by doing a double jump right here. So if you jump and then you have that little icon right there, then you didn't get a bunny hop. But let's see if these guys can hit me. Come on, hit me. Yeah, they're not really hitting me in a good way. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, we'll see in the next area. And actually, I think I need to... I'll kill a guy in the next area. I'm a little low on experience. I want just like 1 or 2 more kills to be able to get the experience that I need. So I like checking the vendor, buying grenades if you need some, and then checking in here. The only Oz kit that really matters for the speedrun is an acrobat Oz kit. For a few seconds after you slam, you get a speed boost, which is really helpful, but I didn't get one, and even if you do get one in here, the movement speed's going to be very minuscule. You can see with like the precision, or not the precision, sorry, the Juggernaut is like 3%. That's about what you'd get from the acrobat. So here we can see how strong bunny hopping can be. And then I want to, yeah, that's enough XP. So we discovered this area, which gave me 100 XP, which was around the bar. You're going to discover this area, which is the boss arena. And by discovering that, you're also going to get 100 XP, which is going to be another bar, which is going to give you a level up, which is going to be really helpful for the fight. So you want to take this path. You need to hit a trigger right here, which closes this door. And then after you hit that trigger, you can do an infield little grenade jump here to get over here. And then you can take a shortcut over here. And then here we want to do another sequence skip and then flip this lever right away. If you get it timed right, then it'll skip all of this dialogue, and then you act as a fuse, and you're good to go. If you have enough health, you can do a grenade jump to get over here faster. So see my XP, I'm around a bar away from a level up. We hit this jump pad, and then you can get a, So that's an example of me not getting a bunny hop. But you can't get a bunny hop to get there fast enough. And I like just hit the level up. So the things that level up does, it completely fills your health and your shields, and it gives you like 100% damage boost for like either a minute or 30 seconds. I'm not entirely positive, but that damage boost is incredibly helpful for deadlift, so you don't have to worry about rolling your action skill, because you can absolutely get a bad action skill here. So as you can see here, I'm just slamming, and by slamming, I kind of like just stagger him in place. So you want to slam him as much as possible, which makes him a lot easier to just outright kill. So once you kill him, he always drops the weapon called the Bandergraffen, and it is incredibly strong. You want to pick that up. I held down E right there to force equip it over the weapon that I had equipped currently. Let me get some grenades here just because they're helpful. It's not the most optimal place to get them, but who cares? So that was the boss. You want to get this Digistart key and a little bit more bunny hopping. Grenade jump off of here. You want to grenade jump off of a ledge because you'll retain all of the momentum as you're falling. So if you're just grenade jumping off of a flat surface, it's more noticeable and more helpful in Borderlands 2, where a grenade jump just like propels you like that. If you jump off the ledge, you'll keep that momentum for longer just because of the nature of physics. In the pre-sequel, it doesn't matter as much because of bunny hopping, but yeah. So here is actually a really cool skip that makes use of something that I haven't really talked about, which is directional boosting. If you look up while you double jump, you'll actually gain more height. I don't know why, but you do. It doesn't make any sense. So do one of those boosts to get on top of this rock, and then you want to do a grenade jump here. The timing for it doesn't really matter. You can just look up and do a double boost over there, and you maneuver around to get over here, and then you get on top of this rock, and then this jump is a little bit difficult. You jump from over here all the way over there. You don't land all the way over there, but you land like right around there. But it's still a bit of a difficult jump, especially because this terrain isn't very consistent with where grenades bounce off of. So I generally try to go over here, and then you just want to do a single jump to begin with. And then a little bit later on, if you do this, you'll get a little bit more distance. And because of that, I was actually able to clear the entire gap. Sometimes if you don't get enough distance, you might have to land over here, which isn't the worst thing. You can boost over here and get there. But it's a bit of a difficult jump. It definitely takes a little bit of practice. So make it over here. And then here's where we start rolling our action skill in places where it won't affect us. As weird as it is to say, a lot of Claptrap's action skills can really help us. Micro Magician is incredible. There's one later on that we have to spec into that gives you insane fire rate. There are some really helpful action skills. There's some neutral ones, but there's some ones that really hurt you. Gunzerker, Funzerker is what it's called. If you get that while you're not in a boss fight or just in any fight period, then you can't sprint and you're constantly firing. So that slows you down. As you saw in the first fight, Rubber Ducky, you bounce uncontrollably, and it's not very good to not have control of your character. So here, before we approach here, we want to activate our action skill, because no matter what we get, no matter if we get Rubber Ducky, it doesn't matter. We're getting another car right away. If we get Funzerker, it doesn't matter. We get another car immediately, and the action skill is going to end. But the reason that we roll it is because we got another one of Krieg's action skills. So I can drop that, smack it like the quest is telling us to, and then get into the car. So driving in this game is an adventure, to say the least. It's not too bad once you get used to it, but you can definitely lose a little bit of time just to the driving being not cooperative. Generally, you want boost to get over that gap, just to make it a bit easier. And other than that, the only driving tip I can give is it doesn't really help to stagger your boost any. Every time your boost finishes, you have to wait a certain amount of time for it to start recharging again. And if you keep like starting and stopping your boost, you're just kind of essentially wasting that time. So you get in here. What I did there is an animation cancel. If your wheels aren't entirely on the ground, actually, if you get out of your car like this, there's an animation for you to get out of your car like that. If your wheels aren't in the air, then it's not even going to try to give you an animation of you getting out and like floating in midair. So it just teleports you out of the car. It saves a good bit of time. So you want to drive back to Janie, get the Orbitron, and turn in the quest. Still don't grab her quests. Turn in and then respawn a car, and you're going to drive this way and just get on with the story. Jump this gap. And then over here, there's a couple of things that you can do. You can drive up these stairs, and if you get lucky, you can potentially like land your car in a way that like I said, the driving in this game is an adventure. I don't even know how that happened, but if you angle it right, you can get it so that you can just travel directly from in your car, or if you get it right, you can travel like that. You can get an animation cancel and just teleport out of your car and travel immediately, or you just have to wait to get out of your car and travel. I haven't found a good setup for it, but there are different things that you can do to just... Point is, just travel to Concordia. Alright, so next, you just want to get over here as fast as possible. Like grenade jumping is your friend, and you'll see later on with some of the moonstone purchases we use, you're gonna have a lot of chances to grenade jump through this run because it saves a whole bunch of time, especially with the low gravity. So you want to activate this, and then at some point start your echo, and this is a whole lot of echo skipping. You want to skip all these lines, but as weird as it sounds, you don't want to skip them too fast, and you definitely don't want to sequence skip them, because if you sequence skip them, then he will soft lock, and he'll just stand there and not do anything, and the only way to fix it is by save quitting. So it wastes a little bit of time. It's more relevant for co-op when in solo the game pauses when you're in your inventory, but in co-op the game doesn't pause, so you generally have people like just in their inventory spamming their echo, and it skips lines as they're right as they happen. And if you do that in co-op here and you do it too quickly, then it actually soft locks him. So like I said, more relevant for co-op, but a couple lines that you have to skip. skip that, give the Orbitron, and a couple more lines to skip. One thing that it's super subtle about skipping dialogue that I haven't mentioned yet, but is actually really important. There are a couple of times I've seen people run, and whenever they go to skip dialogue, they wait for their inventory to open, and then they skip. And that is really slow. You can start, you can move over to do it like as the menu's being brought up. You can't do it like right away, but you can definitely do it while it's still coming in, and you can do it so that you're actually spending very little time in your inventory to skip dialogue. So it's a timing thing that takes a little bit of practice, but you definitely don't want to spend this much time in your inventory. Just with how many lines get skipped, that'll lose you a lot of time in the long run. So here we're going to go for another sequence skip potentially. I mentioned before that Claptrap's echo line is split into like 4 or 5 different lines. The Claptrap start boot up sequence is one dialogue line, then directive 1 start, and then Jack says no, cancel directive 3, and then commencing directive. Those are all different dialogue lines, and each of those lines starting can cause a sequence skip. So it's a little random based on Claptrap's action skill, and a little bit difficult to time. There's 1 or 2 places where I know AC, the current record holder, has implemented them into his run. I don't know them specifically, and I haven't really practiced them, but those are, if you end up watching his run, which I highly recommend you do, and he does something like that, that's the reason why it's happening. And we're going to try to go for one here. So we're going to do this. So that didn't work. Yeah, that didn't work. So you want to, I guess you want to delay that a little bit. If you do get the sequence skip, all of these lines will skip. And that one actually did sequence skip for whatever reason. And I'm not sure why. So there are a couple lines you have to skip. If you get the sequence skip, cool. If not, then whatever. You want to hit that save first. And you actually want to skip those 2 lines. All of these lines, I didn't do it because I was busy explaining things. But you want to have your bullpup equipped actually. Hit this, drop it, and then save quit. Because we're going to do another new game glitch. And this shotgun, no matter what the parts are, is going to be better than the one that you had before. So you'll get the loyalty rewards, and then you're going to want to go to Moxie's bar. So actually, we got the vertical grip. So we got the best bullpup, which is funny. So here we're going to do another sequence skip. Before you hit that rug, you want to start it. If he doesn't speak right away, you want to wait until he speaks. And then I missed it. So if you talk to Roland before Claptrap start boot up sequence ends, then it'll skip all of those lines. Since I was late getting there because I got stuck on something, it didn't skip everything. But that's generally an easy sequence skip to get. Once you talk to Moxie, you can save quit. Right, this is a lot of just go here, do this, go here, do this, go here, do this. Here's another place where you want to get a sequence skip. So he talked immediately. And there we are. I skipped everything. So that's a quick little optimization. That's used a little bit in Borderlands 2. But this is really the only place that these 2 spots are really the only place that you can use it in the pre-sequel to actually save time. The quest objective is for you to hit E on the bank, for you to open the bank. But since I hit E on the bank while I was in air, the game won't let me open a menu while I'm in the air, so it doesn't open the bank, but it still counts the objective that I hit E on the bank. So it's a weird interaction. It doesn't save all that much time, but it's a nifty thing that you can do. So you just want to go over here to the stash, and you can actually do the same thing. Go in the air and press E, and it counts it. But skip those 2 lines and grab the grab the moonstones. And then you want to take the jump pad and actually go over Moxie's bar this time. We're going to do another sequence skip. A lot of these save quits are twofold. One, they teleport you. They're like mini warps to get you closer to your next objective. They also give you a chance to get a new action skill to get a new sequence skip. So they're twofold. We're going to do another sequence skip here. And this one didn't work. So you have to skip these manually. So here, I like to buy a backpack upgrade because we have to get a lot. We have to get a lot of axes, and we need a lot of backpack space. So I recommend getting at least one backpack upgrade during the run in general. If you're really lucky with axes, you can have a really full inventory. Those give me those 3 slots. So I only had 4 open slots. Granted, 3 of them are from smashers that I'm getting rid of. But here you want to check the vendor. You're looking for primarily Jacob snipers. You can get, eventually you're going to want a single barrel a Jacob shotgun. That shotgun in the first slot actually fits that perfectly, but it's a bit low level, so I'm going to pass on it. I generally like, since money's essentially infinite, that's $300 and I have 13,000, it doesn't really matter that I spend the money on that. So I generally like to have one just in reserves, just in case. But this time around, it actually didn't really have that good of parts, so I'm not gonna bother. Actually buying it. So you want to check that vendor quickly because you want to get here before she says that just so we're clear line, because she'll skip herself, and you'll be able to whack that immediately. But because it was slow, that didn't end up happening. So you don't skip any of Moxie's dialogue there. To save quit once you melee that. And this save quit is primarily for a warp more so than a sequence skip, but also you can still run your action skill in general because it's good to run it frequently because you can get another axe just like that. So it's like pseudo axe farming and pseudo sequence skip potential and pseudo warping and whatnot. So once you for this third one, once you spawn, you want to take the jump pad and you want to land on this thing, and you want to get a sequence skip on this thing, because that'll skip the dialogue of these things spawning. So you want to kill these things, and it'll skip that, and then you want to skip that line, and then you can pick up this gearbox through the ceiling. It's a little bit difficult to line up, but you can pick it up through the ceiling just because. Then you place it and save it. And then here, you go over here, and this is a bit of a weird time sequence skip. You press this, and then I delay a little. And it actually messed up because Claptrap was delayed in saying his thing. So generally I delay a little bit and then I roll my action skill. And if he talks right away, then the sequence skip will skip everything. If he waits a little bit, then you might have to manually skip everything. So here is a Jacob sniper that we want to buy. The trigger for this is in this area. So once the Meriff starts talking, you can't skip any of that. So here you want to buy that's generally what you want to buy in terms of SDU upgrades. You want 8 grenades, and then generally 2 shotgun upgrades. Really helps with the sections where you're using the bullpup. So 8 grenades gives you a lot of chance to grenade jump, and then this lets you go through the rest of the areas without needing any extra ammo. Generally, you want to skip Jack's line there if you're fast, but again, the general theme of this tutorial is I'm going to be slow, so I'm going to be missing a couple of things. You want to skip Jack's dialogue, and if you don't, then once he finishes, you want to play an echo before you enter here, and then you skip Barbot. Yeah, Barbot's line. Then play the slot machine. There is a new strat where you do a death fling, which I'll get into a little bit more later. You essentially kill yourself. You hit this and then you kill yourself and then you fall through this wall and then you hit this trigger sooner before the door can open. It's a bit of an advanced strat. I'm not even going for it myself. And if you want to see it in action, watch the world record. But that is a potential strat. Once you hit this trigger, then you can just save quit. And then whenever you're doing buying the SDs, you want to make sure you keep I think it's 10 moonstones with you, because as you're going back here, oh, I hope it's 10 and not 20. Yeah, it is 10. As you're going back here, you want to grab this moxtail. It'll give you 10% gun damage for 30 minutes. Really good and really helpful for this next area. So go back into here, turn into Moxie, and travel. Now here, you want to be careful of what class mod you get. So I got Robo Ninja, which isn't bad. Generally, Factory Second is the best Claptrap class mod you can get. Fire rate's always helpful for speedruns. The one that you don't want to get is... I don't remember the name of the class mod. I don't remember the name of it. Oh god, why don't I remember it? There's one class mod that you can get that lowers your shield capacity by like 30 or 40. If you notice, we still have the starter shield, so it only has a capacity of 50. So having a shield capacity of 19 is not very good. So you want to make sure you don't get that. So just keep in mind whenever you get your class mod. You get level 5, you can equip it. Generally, I get it from discovering here, and then more bunny hopping. Once you get used to it and once you get it down, bunny hopping makes this run so incredibly fun. That makes it really different from all the other Borderlands games. So jump right there. As you can see, I almost missed that jump because driving this game is awful and there's no way to control it. And have fun, good luck. That's all I can give you. So there's another animation cancel, just because here, if you don't have 2 Jacob, I'll equip that just so it's not in there. If you don't have 2 Jacob snipers, I generally check this fender to see if I can get another one. That's a bit of a better shotgun, but I'm still not gonna buy that right now. Check for a Jacob shotgun sniper. I didn't get it, but whatever. So here is another place where you're gonna be abusing your aim assist a ton. Yep, that's unfortunate. Just scoping in and out constantly to essentially auto aim, auto lock on to the enemies is actually really strong. So this floor has 9 Darksiders. You only really need to kill 8 of them on that floor. 7 you could probably get away with too. This guy spawns. You want to make sure you pick up the prisms because these guys won't spawn if you don't. Oh, okay, I'll take that. These guys won't spawn if you don't grab the other guy's prism. And actually, I got Mecha Magician here, which can show off how incredibly strong it is. Increased fire rate, literal aim assist, increased damage, increased fire rate. It's so incredibly broken. I'm not aiming, and I'm killing everything. Mecha Magician is that strong. So you'll get Anarchy, which will increase your damage, but decrease your accuracy. But to compensate for that, you'll get Close Enough, which is one of Gage's skill, where if you hit a wall, it'll redirect bullets into the enemy, which again, are really strong. And then increased fire rate is like a better half is I think what that is, and you'll get Discord. You'll get a whole bunch of buffs and technically debuffs because of the accuracy, and technically lower. You'll see I have a lower max. The action skill ended, but I had a 12 max mag instead of 19. So a couple debuffs, but all things considered, especially with the drop reloading, Micro Magician is incredibly strong. So once you kill everything and once you pick up all the prisms, you save quit. And then you get back in. And then here, again, if you don't have a second Jacobs sniper, you can check here, and I still don't have one. Of course. So you're gonna want to get a car and then drive over the scav trap and not do that. Like I said, driving in this game sucks. But that means I get to check the vendor again for another sniper that I didn't get. Yeah, don't do that. Pro tip. So generally, just to stop that, I stop my boost there. Even though earlier I said don't stop your boost, I stopped my boost there so that I don't do what I just did. So you can actually boost into this wall, and it'll ride up it so that you can automatically get an animation cancel. So talk to Scav Trap, and then different strats do different things. I think Dark Smoke and AC both skip these 3 lines coming from Scav Trap. I don't bother. I just redeployed a car and then drive to the next area. Eventually you want to skip these lines, but I skip these lines a bit differently. It's primarily this line that takes a little bit of time. Here's a little bit more difficult to get an animation cancel, but here I use the sequence skip to, there we are, to just interrupt him and skip him. So you hit this and skip those lines. And then a neat thing with jump pads that I didn't mention before is you can grenade jump off of them to get an increased boost. So I got the jump pad boost, but I also got a grenade jump boost. So I did that, and then towards the bottom I get a bunny hop there. And take this, you can do a grenade jump to get over here faster. And get to Crisis Scar. So Crisis Scar is probably the first, I don't even want to say truly difficult area, but it's a place that can definitely lose you a good chunk of time if you mess it up. So I mentioned, in Concordia that there's a death fling that you can do, and this is the first actual death fling that saves a good chunk of time. Claptrap is, to quote Amerlin, a wacky character with a whole bunch of wacky mechanics, and one of those wacky mechanics is whenever he dies, his body explodes into a bazillion pieces. Well, all of those pieces have hitboxes and collision. And those hitboxes and collision can activate triggers in the map and can activate save points in the map. So if your dead body interacts with certain bits of terrain in a weird way, it can fling your dead body at a really high speed in a bazillion pieces, and you can hit save points really far away in the map. There's one used here, and there's one used in Virago Solitude that essentially skip the entire map. So I'm going to show this off here. I steal Dark Smoke setup for it, which he can hit consistently. I can't, so we'll see how many tries it takes me to get. Like I said, bunny hops here, so incredibly fun to hit. So you bunny hop all the way to the end, and the boss area is right over there. So generally you have to go all the way around here, and over here, and through there, and then through that door, and then through there, and around there, and you're in. You can actually skip a good chunk of it. You can go to that thing, and then jump over, and then jump over and over. Or if you go into here, there's a little crevice that you can jam yourself into. It's not, you'd think that this corner is where you can, but it's actually a little bit next to this corner. So you're gonna shoot the Vandergraffen, and the thing about the Vandergraffen, it has, like I said before, TDO reloads are based on how much ammo is in the mag when you throw it. I guess it's just in general. So the SMG that we had before didn't really do that much damage to us because it only had 24 bullets in the mag. This has 56 bullets in the mag. Plus it's doing shock damage because it's a shock laser. So you can see that one TDO reload almost killed me. So this next one is going to kill me. And I'm in for your life. So you're going to want to turn around. And then the setup that I use, that I steal from Dark Smoke, is this left chevron, the top point of it. I try to line that up with the corner of that building. And then I force bleed myself out. And I don't think I might have gotten it. You can see that Borderlands symbol in the top left or top right corner, and there we are. I actually did get it. There are two different saves that you can hit with it. I hit the good save. This is actually where you end up once you finish the fight. It's where you need to go after you finish the fight. You can there's the entrance, the door to actually enter the arena, or yeah, it's like over there or so, something, and. Or maybe it's underneath me. I don't know. There's a door somewhere, and then there's a save. Yeah, it is that way. There's a save in there that you can also hit. That one's not bad to hit. This one is just a little bit better. This wall that looks like it exists, it doesn't exist. You just fly through it and then slam down, and you're in the arena. It's a really finicky death fling to get, and it takes a lot of practice, and even then it's still not consistent. So Red Belly, like I said, another point where you can lose a good chunk of time. Red Belly has a soft lock with them, and I don't know specifics about it, but I'm speculating. We'll get into the actual fight itself. Right here, if he jumps away, so generally you want to slam to stagger, because same thing happens as with Deadlift. But my hypothesis is if you slam him as he's going into his jumping away animation, then he will soft lock. Once you get him to a low enough health, he'll come back to the center of the arena, and they'll split into red and belly instead of red belly. And if you slam him as he's jumping away, then he just won't split, and he'll just stand there doing nothing. So I tend to be slamming him saves time. You can use your action skill if you need to. Oh well. Slamming him does save time because it does lock him into place. But be wary of soft locks. So once you finish, you can do a directional boost to get back up to where you can land on this ledge. I'm getting away from that. And then you can jump into here, or I think you can. It's a little bit more riskier, but I think you can grenade jump from here. No, you can't do it from here. You have to do it from like over here, or from like on top of here, which is a little risky because, yeah, I don't like any of those really. I like just jumping. Yeah, this is a little bit difficult as well. Hello. Okay, this is weird. Whatever. There we are. You can grenade jump up here, or you can definitely just boost up here without a grenade, which is generally the one that I prefer. And this is something that I've been doing a lot and not really mentioning. That Claptrap's action skill, whenever you activate it, completely fills your health, which is really helpful, and I haven't really been mentioning it before. I used it a lot in that fight, and like right before I did that grenade jump, because otherwise the grenade was going to kill me. But if you're in a predicament, don't be too afraid to just roll, especially early on. Don't be too afraid to roll your action skill to just get all of your health back. So once you get up here, you can actually boost from down there up here. Before you activate this console, you want to play an echo and skip that line. Yep. And then want to kill these relays. There's a trigger somewhere over here that you have to hit for the relays to be hit. I know AC found them. Excuse me, found the trigger for it. And I don't remember where it is. There. And then there I am, full health. And then once you finish that, just drop your bullpup, and you're gonna do another new game glitch. Right, so this is gonna give you a level 7 bullpup, and this is where you can start getting elemental bullpups. You can only get a shock and fire one at this moment. So we get those and go to Concordia. Alright, so what bullpup did I get? I got a normal bullpup, which sucks, but you can get a shock and a fire one. Both of them are really good. The shock one will really help with the boss, and the fire one does, or the next boss that's coming up. The fire one will too, but it'll be a lot more helpful against just the base enemies that you're going to be fighting in the next area. So once you're in Concordia, you want to hit this trigger. There's a trigger around here, Jack. At Jack, you want to hit. Check the vendor for another Jacob's sniper, which you obviously don't get because you're me. And then you want to go to the bounty board. And then as soon as Jack talks, you want to accept that quest and immediately go over to Earl's, essentially. That'll skip all of his dialogue, and he'll just start moving immediately. You can get some SDUs if you need them. I guess I'll get more backpack. Doesn't really matter. Once a check mark happens, you can save quit. And you want to take this jump pad to get to the elevator. Before you enter, you want to play your echo so that you can skip, I think those 2 lines, or just one. I don't really remember. And here, we've had 4 skill points this entire time. Here's where we can start spending them. They don't really matter. They matter to get to the mid-tier capstone. And I guess one of the ones helps, but just dump all 4 of them into, what is this, Best Buds for Life? Yeah. It helps, I guess. It's not too imperative that you get them, which is why we've gone, what, I think this is like 30 minutes into the run, 35 minutes in the run or so, just without spending them yet. So, have to wait for the elevator. And then travel. And then here, I think is a new strat that, again, I haven't really done or implemented, but you want to do this fight, again, abusing the aim assist and the drop reloading. And then, I think once you kill all of these enemies, you want to save quit. This will do the same thing that it did at the start of the game with Jack and the Claptrap, in that it'll instead of having to wait for them to run all the way over here, they'll just teleport here immediately, and you can run and grenade jump and bunny hop faster than they can run, so that saves a little bit of time. Here's another advanced strat that you can down yourself and just fall through this. Your dead body can fall through this and you can hit the trigger, but again, like I said, bit of a new strat that I haven't practiced. You want to skip those 2 lines and just be in the Meriff's office to trigger the cutscene. And then once that starts, nothing you do matters. You have to wait for this Emerald cutscene, so that means farming for more money, especially since there's a vendor at the start of here. So you just wait for all that to happen, and try not to sell your entire inventory. So get a little bit of money. Generally I go until right here, and then now you really want to buy a shield upgrade. You want to look through the shields that are in here. You want to make sure you buy a level 5 shield. So yeah, I sold my entire inventory through all that. You want to make sure you buy a level 5 shield. I've fallen into the trap of being enticed by a green shield in the item of the day that's only level 3. That's only slightly better than the starter one. So you want to make sure you buy a level 5 one. That'll give you the best bang for your buck. So after he says what's wrong with you, you want to try a sequence skip. You might have to skip an extra line, but once he says, "Where was I?" you can travel out. If you travel out too early, you're going to have to watch that entire cutscene again. So be careful when you travel out. So take the elevator down. You can do a grenade jump to speed up. And then you want to hit this fast travel, because you're going to be doing a safe quit and you want to spawn right there. So turn into Janie. If you can't turn into Janie, then you left too early and you have to watch everything again. So turn in the story quest, and then you saw I grabbed all of her quests that she has. So, and then once you're done with that, you save quit. So this is a technique that I think it was found in Borderlands 2 and used extensively there. Every quest in the game has an intro dialogue that explains what the quest actually is that you're doing. The "Wherefore art thou" that we picked up earlier. My wife Deirdre was whatever. I need you to find whatever and see if she's still alive, or whatever crap. For whatever reason, that dialogue has insane priority because they want you to know what you're actually doing in the quests. But you can if you pick up a quest underneath other high priority dialogue, then you can store that dialogue to play later. So the story dialogue that was happening was, take the scrambler, you need to go to here, I know someone, you need to get a vehicle, blah 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 blah, other crap. That's really important dialogue because it's the story of the game. And because that was happening, we could pick up like 5 different quests that Janie has that all have their own introduction, that all are stored until later for us to use to skip a whole bunch of dialogue at once. It won't be a little bit until we actually use one of those, but that's the basics of quest swapping is what it's called. So we picked up that, we save quit, we can get back into the game, and then the save quit actually skipped the rest of the story dialogue, the rest of the really important dialogue. So we save quit to skip all of that, and then we have to go back and grab the scrambler, save quit again, and then we'll spawn right back at the fast travel. And then we can travel to Triton Flats. So once we're in Triton Flats, since I still don't have a Jacob sniper, finally, find one, I can buy one. And we have 2 Jacob snipers. You only need 2, so I'm all set on that end. In terms of the guns that you need to get for the game, that is a pretty easy part to get that really helps later on. So I want to take that path, and oh my god, that's an insane code. That is an insane code. So the path that I took is actually really quick to get here. This code that's on the door, whenever you get here, is entirely random. The code that you put in is always 8008. So the fact that every single one was 108 is insane. So you want to do that with the Vandergraffen because it's quick, and then you want to roll your action skill here as well because you're about to get in a car. And I'm actually full. Why am I full? I'm not full. You're full. Okay, well that broke, which is unfortunate. So we got the Stingray. We want to make sure to spawn the Stingray. It sucks that I couldn't get that. So I'm gonna make sure you spawn the Stingray instead of the buggy. And the Stingray is actually really fun. And there's something really broken that we do literally in this next area. Use the Stingray, and you jump this gap, and since I'm bad at this game, I actually missed it. Because I jumped too early. I boosted too early. The gimmick with the Stingray is it whenever you boost, you get propelled upwards instead of boosting forward. So let's just ignore that I did that. It's really neat because especially if you boost off of like a cliff, you just kind of like float along the entirety of the map, which is actually really cool. Which again we'll see to an extreme degree in about like 10 seconds. So I guess wait to boost until there. And then you can slam. I like to slam there because you have to be careful. You can get your car stuck in here and just die randomly. It's not consistent, but the slamming where I did makes it so you kind of like bounce. I think it has to do with this ramp and the interaction with the ceiling, and it doesn't make any sense. But where I slammed generally makes it so you like bounce and then you slam and then you ricochet from the bounce or from the slam and bounce up and just land on here and don't deal with this ramp at all. But check out Outlands Canyon. And here, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. If you look at the map, actually you can't see the map because nothing's discovered. If you take a look at the map, it is a pretty complex area that I think you have to like go through here. I don't know the actual path you're supposed to take through here because we don't take the actual path. So the neat thing about the Stingray is it's called Outlands Canyon. So this massive canyon that's over here, you can just jump over here and jump the entire canyon. So it's a pretty big skip that you can do. You don't even need to do anything special with the Stingray. You just kind of boost and you make it there. It's pretty neat. So land right here and you're just about at where you need to be. Again, I think the actual path that you're supposed to take is supposed to go like up there and around through there. Again, I don't know it. There are two ways that you can get to where you need to be. Over here, you can directionally boost. You can directionally boost, and you can just land up here. Or the fast way is you can grenade jump over here, and then still directionally boost, and then you can land here. And then you can either grenade jump again to be faster, or if you can maintain that bunny hop. So once you hit that save point, you want to save quit. That'll skip a lot of dialogue, and which technically I skipped just by being slow in general, but once you save quit, you're technically going to be you're going to spawn a little bit closer than you were, but you're going to want to get to pickles, and you want to be careful here with your boosts and your bunny hops because you keep your momentum and you keep moving during the cutscene. So if you bunny hop right before the cutscene, you can absolutely just die in the cutscene. So once the cutscene ends, okay, you want to do a sequence skip? Ah, I missed it. I can't believe I missed it. You want to get a sequence skip, and if you get a sequence skip, you just skip all this dialogue, and it saves a whole bunch of time. I can do it. This is actually a really easy sequence skip to get. So it sucks that I missed it. And then here's a quick little skip that saves 2 seconds. You can jump off on top of this, and then you can land right here. And again, I didn't save any time by doing that skip, but you can travel as soon as the travel becomes available. Like I said, it saves like 2 seconds. So this coming up is actually the second most difficult area in the run. Because this is the point where we're starting to get really underleveled. So here we just want to get some bunny hops and some grenade jumps. Again, like I said, really fun bounding across the map. You want to get over here, and like I said, you can see when I miss my bunny hop because I end up using ammo. So you want to get over here, and you want to grenade jump around this entire area instead of having to go through and fight. You want to land on top of here and get to the bridge. There's a trigger over here that you want to hit, and then over here you want to grenade jump. And it doesn't look like it, but there's a ledge over here that you can stand on, and then you can directionally boost up here. So that's a lot of grenade jumps and a lot of skips that I didn't really go too much in depth about. The grenade jump timing is more or less just a feel. I don't have a set like visual identifier for when to jump and when to do anything. I'm sure it's possible to find one. I personally just go off of the feel of when I think the grenade should happen. But yeah, it's a lot of jumps in a short amount of time. In the description, I'll link a playlist that I have that just has individual videos of just about all of the skips that I'm covering in here. So you can go in there, instead of having to skip through the entire video, you can skip directly to one skip and see how that skip ends up working. So good luck, I guess. So once you get up here, you can get over here, and then here you want to try and get a sequence skip as well, but since I was a little slow in explaining everything, I didn't really get it. So you want to activate the console, and then you want to open this chest. This chest is a level 10-11 chest, and you can get some really good gear out of this that you can potentially use for the rest of the run. So I didn't get anything helpful here. What you're looking for here is either a level 10 Vladoff rocket launcher, a bandit launcher or a Tory launcher, or a railgun. And I'll go more in depth about these specifically whenever in about a split or two. Actually, next split is when I'm going to go a little bit more in depth, but I didn't get anything there, so that kind of sucks. So once you do that, you want to drop all the way down here, and then after he says boom, you want to start your echo, and then skip these next dialogue lines. So once you do that, you're just going to jump into the lava and death warp. Alright, so after death warping, you're just going to go straight. So what I did there, again, is just a little minor optimization. I mentioned earlier that any ammo crate that you open will give you a greater chance of giving a certain ammo if you're at less than half. I was at 4 grenades, so I threw a grenade and then I opened the Kragan pile, and because I'm at less than half grenades, it was more likely for me to get a grenade, so I got a grenade. So I'm at 3, I opened this, and I got a grenade because I was at less than half. So you're going to go into this corner, then you're going to throw a grenade around that area. That wasn't the best grenade throw, and you want to grenade jump onto this pipe. I think you can get onto the pipe without a grenade jump, but obviously grenade jumps are fast, so you want to grenade jump about as much as possible so that you can get speed. So you're going to get over here, and you can get on top of here, and you can get a whole bunch of grenades from these crates. And then you're going to do a grenade jump here. This is a super simple grenade jump to get. I don't even think you need oxygen to actually hit it. So, of course I got cryoed whenever there's good stuff in the chest. So, like I said, opening the chest. That's a level 11 Vladoff, that sucks. Alright, so I actually got something that's really helpful. And then something that could be helpful, but unfortunately is 1 level too high. So once you activate that console, and if you want to check this crate, you can. Otherwise, after activating the console, you just save quit. So if you don't have grenades, you can buy them here. It's generally helpful to buy grenades whenever you have the chance, and it's not too far out of your way, because if you don't, the time that you lose from buying grenades, you generally can make up by being able to grenade jump and money hop. So after save quitting, you're gonna go to this like little garage thing, and you can just like boost on top of this. You don't even need to directionally boost it. You can just kind of boost and make it up there and finagle your way around. And actually, I did that wrong. You want to do a grenade jump off of this jump pad, and then this is probably one of the most difficult parts of the run, because these jet fighters hurt. So you want to activate that, and then it's kind of just a race against the jet fighters. If you need to, and I definitely recommend it, especially early on, is just hitting that save. Because if you die, then you'll get put at that save, rather than if you don't, where you'll get put at the death travel, or at the fast travel. So I'm really low, and I need oxygen. This is where Funzerker really hurts, because now I can't hit the grenade jump. So, like I said, this is a difficult area, and this section is really difficult because of these freaking jet fighters. So I technically killed them, so I should be good once Funzerker ends. So I throw a grenade right there, and you don't want to land up top this time. You want to land at the bottom, and if you can get a bunny hop, it's actually really good. It's really difficult to get the right bunny hop though. So you activate this, definitely get some oxygen, and you want to be careful here, because if you slam in here too early, you can still fall into the lava even though it's technically frozen. It's really weird interaction, but you can jump over here and do a little grenade jumping if you want, and travel into Pity's Fall. Now here is the first big major RNG section of the run. So the game didn't expect you to be this low of a level going into Pity's Fall. As weird as it sounds, they didn't expect you to be this low of a level. We are level 7 currently, and this level is like level 10 to 12. So the vendors in this area are scaled to level 10 to 12 right now. So I'm gonna check this vendor, and all of the guns in here, level 12, level 12, level 11, 12. There's level 10 grenade mod, level 10 shield. They didn't expect you to be this low level, so you can get some really high level gear in here. So we're actually going to farm these vendors for high level gear that we're going to use for the run. So like I said before, there are a couple of things that we're looking for. We're looking for a railgun. That one's, even though it's purple, it's actually not that good. But it'll work. We're looking for a single barrel Jacobs shotgun. So it'll look all rustic, and it either has this barrel or I don't have a different barrel to show because I have the same one there, and that's better than this one that I have. So I'm gonna get rid of that, and then we need a flat-off rocket launcher. You can tell a flat-off rocket launcher by this little thing sticking out, but it needs to be level 10, so this one's actually useless to us. And then we want a Bandit Scav rocket launcher or a Torg rocket launcher. And this is getting a little specific into manufacturers and parts. Each manufacturer manufactures certain types of weapons, and for the types of weapons that they manufacture, they also manufacture the parts for the weapon. Launchers have a barrel, a grip, an exhaust, and then a sight that all affect the stats of the gun. We want at least one Malawan part on our launcher. So this has a Malawan barrel, and what the Malawan parts do is they give us increased rocket speed. Torque parts are generally not that good because they have really slow rocket speed. Slow to the point where if you have like all Torg part launcher, then you could potentially outrun your rockets, which is not very good. So this barrel, actually, the one that we got dropped, is actually a really solid launcher that we could probably use for the rest of the game. Another thing, so I'm technically done with my farming, as weird as it seems. I have a railgun, I have a single barrel shotgun, I have a level, generally you want level 12 launcher, level 11 works, especially if it's green. What we can get from this vendor as well, some people do their entire weapon farming in here, but since I only need level 10 gear, I can wait a little bit and do my level 10 farming until I hit level 10 to do it at a bit of a better place. But you want a level 12 launcher, a level 10 launcher, a level 10 Vladoff, a railgun, and a single barrel shotgun. And I didn't even talk about railguns. Railguns, you can tell they have this little pointed part at the top. So there are four different laser types. I didn't even mean to buy that. I meant to just look at it. Splitters have like a box end over here. Beams, we can see from the Vandergraffen, have like a curved little thing right there. Blasters are, you're probably going to confuse blasters and railguns the most often. Blasters have this same part, except it's in the middle, whereas railguns, it's on the top. So that's a quick way to identify it, or you can just hover over it and see if it says railgun. So for this farming session, I should be fine. But because of this, I'm going to have to do another farming session a little bit later. So what you want to do while you're doing this farming, too, since you're save quitting a bunch, it means you can roll your action skill a bunch. So I'll give a little bit more examples. If I were to keep farming, because I didn't have anything, I'd roll my action skill, check. That's actually a really good launcher as well. That would be runnable. Again, the Mal1 barrel, which really helps. And this one's better, but this one is definitely runnable. So I didn't. Whew, that's a pretty quad. Sorry, PL2's shining through. So you roll your action skill. Haven't gotten it. And still no laser. I kind of want to save quit until I get a laser, just so that I can show off what a laser looks, or what a blaster looks like. So here I got an axe. Oh, that's a level 10 launcher. I'm getting that. Okay. So one thing about, and then that's actually a pretty decent launcher. I don't think that's Mal1, but that's Mal1 and that's Mal1, so that's really good rocket speed. One thing about the free sequel compared to Borderlands 2 is every item of the day, once you reach, like, I want to say like after Red Belly or something, every item of the day is guaranteed to be at least blue, so you can get some really good stuff from vendors. So that's a pretty launcher. So I'll do like 2 more tries to see if I can get a blaster. Okay. So this is essentially what your RNG farming split will look like here. Rolling your action skill bunch. And I got the level 10 Vladoff, so I don't even need to farm. I actually have everything I need. Alright, I'll still show off the route if you don't get your level 10 gear. In this section, I'll still show off what you need to do a little bit later on to get your level 10 gear. So that's our farming split done. Now we can actually move on with the area. So I'm gonna buy grenades, and then still one more check of the vendor, see if you can get like a purple launcher or something. A grenade jump here can just take a more direct path to where you need to go, because you need to get to right here, and instead of going all the way around with the grenade, you can clear that gap. So like I said, this is where we start to get really under-leveled. These guys are almost guaranteed to kill you. So if you go down, it's fine. Your bullpup is good enough. It's a really good weapon, so you'll most likely be able to... Okay, so that's the other single barrel that you can use. It's level 11. So those are the 2 shotguns that you're looking for. Okay, this area is going to be extremely hectic because it's gonna be, this is the most difficult area of the run, because these levels are so overleveled and you're so underleveled, so you do less damage because higher level enemies have damage reduction on them, and they deal a ton of damage to you that your low level shields just can't hold, can't fend off. But soon we'll have a way to actually mitigate a lot of that damage. So entering here, before you reach, you need to hit a trigger over here. Before you do that, you want to do a sequence skip, and that'll skip a ton of dialogue here, and then you'll get an axe. And then here is another death fling that you want to do. It's a bit finicky, but you just want to like lodge yourself in here. And I didn't get it. It's a bit tricky. There's two different versions of it. I'll show off both. There's actually I don't know how I'm going to show off both. I'll show off the second one whenever I finish the area, I guess. But for this version of it, it's fastest because it's like right here. If you need to down yourself, you have the Vandergraffen. There's also a barrel here, but you ram yourself against there, and I think I got it. You just kind of fall, and you... Nope, I didn't get it. So the area that you're looking for doesn't have these spacesuits. So it's been a little while since I've done this. Okay, let's see if I can get it this time. There we go. If you get it right, you will fling directly upward and just keep going to the friggin' sky. That way you'll know you get it. So this is, like I said, the way that you end up. So what you're supposed to do is there's a door over here. You're supposed to go all the way around and through the area and all that stuff. But it's faster. This is where you finish, essentially, and it's faster to just go through the area backwards. So especially if you hit that Deathwing first, then it's faster to do it that way. So once you respawn, you're going to do the first example of merging. So this is the reason that we've been collecting all of these axes. Merging is something that's possible in Borderlands 2 that is super easy to do in previous patches. They made it a lot more difficult in this game, but it still exists. So we make full use of it. So it's a lot easier to do whenever you have all 4 of your slots unlocked, but since we only have 2, we have to do it a little bit differently. You want to drop your bullpup here, and then you want to equip the probe. Now the probe is a mission weapon from what mission is it for? Torgo. Yeah, Torgo. So that mission gives you the probe that you're supposed to use to antagonize the Kragans. Well, they gave a stupidly high healing percentage since it's a Moxie weapon. You can see by Moxie. All Moxie weapons heal you. They gave probe a stupidly high percentage of healing. It only does 5 damage, which is why I'm assuming they made it this high. But you heal 100% of the damage you do while holding this gun. So what we're going to do is we're going to trick the game into thinking that we're holding this gun at all times. So we have this equipped, and then usually I leave my inventory to make sure that I have it equipped. That's just a personal preference. You don't need to do it. And then we're going to equip one of the axes. So the way that you merge is you hold the weapon that you want to merge, you swap to the axe, you merge to the weapon you want to merge again, and then you switch to the weapon that you want to merge onto. So now, as you can see from the gun, you can see the remnants of the probe right around there. Right there, you can see sort of the probe icon. The game thinks I'm holding both the probe and the bullpup. So what I did, I force equipped my weapon that I held, pressed E and held it on the bullpup that's on the ground. So now I'm going to heal 100% of the damage I do with the bullpup, which makes this area a lot more bearable. So if you're fast with the Deathlings and fast with merging and all that stuff, Felicity will still be, or I guess the skipper right now, but Felicity will still be talking, and she's actually going to be talking throughout this entire time. So what you want to do is you want to slam down on here to activate, just supercharge this jump pad, and in doing that you'll launch all the way up here, and then you can drop down in here, and then go over here, and then on quick little grenade jump over here, and you're essentially a lot further in the area than you would be if you had to wait for Felicity's dialogue, or even if you just went through it normally. So if Felicity is still talking at this area, you want to hold off on entering the ship, entering this doorway. What you want to do is you want to do a sequence skip to interrupt Felicity talking and keep skipping until they finish talking. It's a little bit of dialogue, but it prevents a soft lock that you get. So you enter in here, and then Jack should be talking. I might have actually sequence skipped him here. You want to skip like 1 or 2 of his lines. That's all you really need to skip. And then you go up here. And then this is an advanced strat. You want to skip this save because you're going to do a death warp later that takes you essentially back to where you were before. So you want to go around here so you don't activate the save. It's a little risky because if you die in here, then you're going to be put back to where you did the death fling at. So it's really risky, but it saves a lot of time if you get it done properly. So before you approach this last door, you want to start your echo and skip these lines. And level bonus is actually really neat because it really helps with dealing damage. The double damage really helps. You're now only 4 levels under level. So you skip all these lines, and then you want to go over here, and then you jump over here. This is where you end up. So you can just, this is where the rest of the story ends up being. So being here just expedites stuff. So skip all these lines. You want to kill this thing. You can route a couple of sequence skips in here if you want. I'm not sure if any of the others do, but so one thing about having your probe merged is you can't drop reload. So one thing that you can do is if you don't have that much good gear, i.e. 2 purple weapons, if all of the other weapons that you have farmed from the vendors are green or blue, then you can inventory reload. The same thing with weapons in the world. Having a full clip applies to your backpack as well. So you can equip the Vandergraffen and then equip the bullpup instead, and then that'll give you a full clip as well. So once you kill that, you want to skip these lines. So as you can see, these guys are doing a ton of damage, but this is where, again, abusing the aim assist and the probe healing 100% of the damage that you deal becomes really, really strong. So once you jettison that engine, it's a lot more waiting. You have to wait for the animation of the engine actually jettisoning to finish up. So really all you can do here is farm more money and then buy a shield here too. So I think this vendor, this vendor is level 12. So buying a shield helps. You can check class mods too. Ninja doesn't really do anything. So once Pickle says his line, I've got fresh loot to sort, this door will open and you can enter the engine. You just have to get that check mark and then you can kill yourself. either with the Vandergraffen or if an enemy's going to kill you or whatnot. Or a slow way is just to down yourself on this way. It's difficult to down yourself because damage you do to yourself heals yourself. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, but it makes it a little bit difficult to kill yourself. So that is one way that's fairly consistent. So by skipping that save outside of the engine room, the last save that you hit is the save that you death warp to, that you death flung to. So there's a bunch of triggers throughout here that are telling you hit this part and do this and do this and do this. The only trigger that you have to hit is you have to go up here and then up here. And then it thinks you went through the entire area, and you can flip those controls and then go to the boss of this area. It's actually kind of funny. So this is also a really terrifying area because you want to do grenade jumps to be really fast, but by doing grenade jumps you're downing your own shield, which is bad, and these guys can absolutely just obliterate your health. I made it there relatively pretty free actually. So in here, since you're level 5 or level 8 as you're opening this vendor, it actually scales to your level, which I guess level 8 is the lowest level that they expected you to be at this point of the game. So that's why this actually scales. So I definitely recommend buying a shield. Turtle shields are generally the best. Because of the probe healing, ancient shields are actually pretty good because they give you increased health, whereas turtle shields have increased shield capacity at the cost of health. Either way, turtles are probably the best shields that you can have during a run, and you can absolutely just have a shield for just about the entire run. There's a little thing you can do here where you like slide through the crack in the elevator and you can just slam to the bottom. I didn't get there, but whatever. So this is 100% the most difficult boss in the game. In the speedrun, most difficult boss, because he is level 13 and you're level 8. You don't have any infinite ammo, you don't have any damage, you have a bullpup and a Vandergraffen, and that is it. So we're going to be using those. The weapon, especially starting off, the weapon that I tend to use depends on the action skill that I get. So if I get Mecha Magician or Fun Zerker, then I will use the bullpup because the damage increase that you get from those two action skills really helps in killing the bosun. If I don't get that, I'll use the Vandergraffen. And now you're thinking, wait, the Vandergraffen's a level 3 gun. How is it really good against a level 13 enemy? Well, the Vandergraffen reloads 1, do shock damage, and 2, do a ton of damage based on the amount of ammo in the clip. So I'll see if I can show off both. But I guess we'll see once I actually get my action package. Vandergraffen does a surprising amount of damage. Actually, I can probably show off both in here. I can inventory reload with one. So you want to go up here. You can just directly. Okay, so I got Mecha Magician. So that makes the bosun actually really difficult, and actually makes the Vandergraffen really bad because it lowers the damage it does because it lowers your mag size. So since I went down, so long as you're doing damage, you're healing. So I got a level up there. So now I'm gonna show the Vandergraffen. So that obliterated his shield. So generally once his shield's gone, that's when you can start chipping away at his health with the Vandergraffen. And if you go down, so long as you have a second wind nearby, it's not the end of the world. Because the same bonus that you get for leveling up, you get from getting a second wind. So, I guess it's not the same. You get a bonus, damage bonus for getting a second wind. So going down isn't terrible, as long as you can find a second wind nearby. So that was actually a pretty decent fight. It could have gone better. I could have done better with Mecha Magician. But getting Mecha Magician there was good. And then even after going down, getting his health down, or getting his health whittled away with the Vandergraffen was really good. So I guess that showed up both of the ways you can take on the bosun. Vandergraffen obliterates his shield. Once his shield's obliterated, you can start whittling away at his health with the bullpup, or you can keep going with the Vandergraffen because his shield keeps regenerating. Because you generally don't get rid of the shield generators. He'll always have a shield, so the Vandergraffen will always be super effective against him. So it takes a while to just bash your head into it and see what works for you. So once you reach here, once I reach the end of this little cabinet thing, I try to get a sequence skip, and if you hit the console in time, then it skips everything here. So you turn this in, and then you save quit. And that is the most difficult area in the game. Now I'm gonna try and show off. Okay, that's a blaster. If you didn't know what a blaster looked like, it was really quick, but it's a railgun, still a blaster. All right, I'm gonna see if I can show off the other out of bounds, if that's more comfortable for you. I guess I haven't done it actually ever really. Actually no, that's a lie, I've done it once. So we'll see if I can do it. We'll see if I can wing it. Alright, so instead of doing the fling right there, you can actually just turn right here, and then this wall just doesn't exist. So you can get over here, and then I think you wanna, is this the right one? Yeah, I think it's the right one. And you just look straight up. Nah, I didn't get it. That might not have been the right area. I guess this is one that I don't think I've ever done, just because even though it's inconsistent, I prefer the one actually in the room. So I actually need. Okay, need some more ammo. Yeah, we'll see if I can get it again. Is it? Maybe it's right here. Yeah, I think it's right here. You look straight up, and then there it is. I got it. So that's the other death fling that you can do. It's a lot more consistent, and actually in the co-op run, the host, I'm gonna save quit so I don't lose my money from dying. In the co-op run, that's the death fling the claptrap does, because the claptrap doesn't have to hit the trigger in the room. You can just go directly to that one, and since it's a lot more consistent and a lot safer, that's generally the one that's preferred in that run. So, now that we're done with that, you're gonna travel to Triton Flats. And then here's some really fun movement that you can do with the that you can do with the Stingray. I didn't mention this initially, but if you slam and then boost immediately on hitting the ground, you can get a lot more height than you usually would. So if you turn around and go here, you I didn't get it. If you slam, boost, and then boost, slam, and then boost again, you can get a ton of height. And then here you can get it again and get around here. So this is a really direct and quick path that you can take with the Stingray to get to the train station over here. So you can potentially get an animation cancel here. It's a little bit more difficult with that's not what I wanted. I might have just lost that axe. I don't know, we'll see. It doesn't really matter too much. So here, we literally just have to wait for the train to come here. What is nice though, is there are some Shugraths that spawn, and some Rathids that we can kill to try and get a little bit more XP. Because before we take on the next area, we want to be level we want to be level 10 to actually use the launchers that we farmed for. So any XP that you can get here, killing the Sugargrass, killing the Rathids, definitely helps. Although the next area is going to have a really nice source of XP. So it won't make that much of a difference, but any XP definitely helps. So whatever action skill you get that can help. The usual Funzerker is really nice because you get ammo as well, which is something that I'm a little lacking in. But don't spend too much time killing the Rathids. It's not worth spending the time just to kill them. So if you got everything, if you got your level 10 Vladoff and your level 10 launcher from Pity's Fall, then you don't need to do this next part. You can just move on to the next section. You have to be a little bit careful with your XP gathering because you still need to hit level 10 in this area, but it's not as imperative that you hit level 10. If you don't have your level 10 launcher and level 10 Vladoff, then you need to do this next part. The Vandergraffen is going to be really big, and you need the ammo for the Vandergraffen as well. So you want to get ammo, and then these Torques, for whatever reason, give a really good amount of XP for how easy it is to kill them. So just a couple of Vandergraffen throws into a couple of Torques has given me like 2 bars of XP. So you can do that, and then you can open this, and then more Torques can spawn. The Swarmlings die in one hit and get you a ton of XP. So once you hit level 10, if you don't have your launcher, then save quit. Again, if you don't have your launcher, you want to travel to Triton Flats. And this is where you do your farming for your launcher and your shotgun. So here you can roll your action skill. There's a railgun that's bad. But here you can farm and save quit to get, again, you want a level 10 launcher and a level 10 Vladoff launcher. So I'm getting level 10 weapons, getting more axes, because why not? So this is another point of RNG in the run, especially if you didn't get it previously. There's a level 10 scav launcher. It's not great, but it works. So that's something that you could run with. I got another axe. Torg launchers and bandit launchers are the best you can use to run. And there's your Vladoff. So TDR launchers can work. Use your discretion. If you have a purple level 11 launcher, then and you find a Torg launcher first, then by all means run the Torg or run the TDR for the 1 level. But use your discretion. TDR launchers aren't very good, so keep that in mind. So there's the Vladoff. Now that I have that, I can travel back to Titan Industrial Facility. And here, I'm actually going to end this first part of the video. We're about halfway into the run, more or less. So I'm going to split this off, and this will be a part 1. So part 2 will cover the rest of the game. So stay tuned for that. And thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in part 2 of this.